Yeah, we just came off a good win. I thought maybe best we played against Portland State. This been consistently good defensively, and I think we've kind of found our footing a little bit better on sharing the ball offensively, and still have a lot of work to do, but tickled that we're 5-0.
Opening the floor, Ryan Root, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. How's it been practicing this week, the same week as finals for these student athletes?
Really not doing anything. We came in just to touch base with them, played Sunday, and a lot of them got a lot of stuff going on, even though we don't have not in class, but they have a lot of work to do. And we just came in, reviewed Portland State a little bit, watched a little film, and just was optional if guys want to get shots, lift, or study, or rehab. So just kind of that. We're taking today off, and then it's just what it is for everybody when you're running finals week. It's just as a coach, you want to work on new stuff and add some things, but you just hope you can retain what you've already done in essence, because you only have so much capacity to take on so much during finals.
Do you have much of a status update on the injuries for this team, Coons with Tony or Rodman?
All indefinite, or I think Jazz is the closest coming back, and we'll see where he's at after practice tomorrow. And then I think DJ's was I don't know, they used the ankle sprain of some sort, so you never know. Those could be high, medium, low, whatever. And then Tony's I don't know on that one, to be honest.
Aside from winning these remaining non-conference games, what is this team looking forward to accomplishing for the remaining non-conference games before you guys get into the conference schedule?
I mean, like I said, we're not love being 5-0, not consumed with the results as much as the process. And like I said, we've been really good. First shot defense been really good. Stayed consistent. That's great. We're something. And then we've got to improve our ball handling and our offensive execution. So hopefully we can move towards that. The injuries have set us back as far as playing different styles and what we want to do. And we'd like to be able to play bigger, because we'll need to, when league starts, and get comfortable doing that. So that's a lofty goal maybe from where we're at, but just hopefully not. Hopefully we get to do that, see some of that in the next 3 games, depending on who we're playing. I think Montana State might be the best team we played thus far, and we'll see how that goes.
And just one last question for you. With the latest AP polls this week, the Cougs didn't receive any votes. Does this affect the team's mindset much going into this next week? I know last week you said you weren't quite ready yet, you thought. And does this affect the team too much this week?
Hopefully it reflects reality. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think we're there yet. I don't want to be too harsh on our guys, but yeah, it's fine. I don't know. It's not something we even think about or talk about. Maybe our guys, I'm sure they get exposed to it, but and it'll affect you. But I think we're pretty grounded as a coaching staff and team what we need to do to be good, and to get that kind of consideration. We're a long ways from there.
Great, thank you, Coach.
Theo Lawson, go ahead.
Yeah, Kyle, it feels like you guys have never really been fully healthy since you got here at the start of last year with all the injuries last year and obviously this year. What type of challenge has that been for you personally, having to kind of use different rotations and mix and match different guys? And has it kind of been a different experience for you?
It's something. It's like one of the most important things. I usually think it's been kind of snake pit here at Washington State for whatever reason. And at some point, man, you do a little inventory of what we're doing practice, but it's not any different than we've done in previous 2 stops as far as time on the floor and stuff like that. But reminiscent more at Columbia when I was in the Ivy League, because you played back-to-backs and often have to tinker the lineups just because you'll get a tweak on one night, not have that guy the next night, and hard to recover. So I have some experience with it. No one likes it. It really stinks. It's hard to get settled, and then bringing the guys back is harder. And sometimes guys, they're out for a while. Have had it where they, the guy that moved, what's my guy? Gosh dang, I can't use it. Lou Gehrig. Who'd Lou Gehrig replace? Well,
Wally Pipp.
Wally Pipp. The Wally Pipp theory sometimes, and that affects your team. And some guy just takes off, and honestly, as a coach, you hope that happens. It's like, and you don't wish it for the guy who got hurt, but just like you know, going in and out, and you just can't get settled. So, yeah, so it's hard. It's hard on the brain space.
How do you guys kind of manage that with 3 games and I guess a 6-day span as far as managing loads and whatnot, and maybe keeping guys off the floor for longer periods of time or something like that, or do you just kind of treat it as usual?
You know what? I think sometimes less is more, and like I didn't realize that Andre played so many minutes, and he had he turned the ball over. Well, he's guarding arm fatigue, but just having someone that's playing through it. Some constant out there helps. Sometimes those guys that can just absorb minutes, and that's kind of what DJ is for us too. Unfortunately, he's gone, but he's a guy that would moves the ball, rebounds his position, good defender, and spaces the floor, and he can chew up a lot of minutes, and just settle things. So we lost that piece. So and Andre kind of filled that void, and that helped when TJ came in the game. So it settled him a little bit. So probably. Maybe certain guys longer extended minutes.
Do you worry about someone like Isaac maybe overexerting himself in a game like this? That's obviously so meaningful to him with Montana State. Or do you have to talk to him about that, or is he just a senior who's mature and can kind of handle that on his own?
No, I think it'd be naive to think that he's a very in touch with his feelings, emotions, that stuff, and he'll be focused on doing the job at task. But that definitely be some emotion. I mean, his junior college coach assistant there. He played with some of those guys. He's been there pro, so he's not naive to the fact that there's going to be a even hotter microscope on him. But do our best to say, hey, stay focused on task. He'll do it. He'll do his best, but I'm sure there'll be some emotions involved.
I think right now you guys are top 30 in scoring defense and top 12 in the country in field goal percentage defense. Is the defense a little farther along than you would have expected especially with all the new guys and all the turnover you guys had in the offseason? For sure, and but I think I hope I look like a prophet. I think I did say at that recruiting class a really good defensive talent. I think you can see it with. And we knew Bova being like last year at the end, not playing enough. I know he impacts it, helps us around the rim, and then obviously FA does, and we want to be able to get where those two play together. And Noah's a good defender. He's older. Isaac's a good defender, really good defender. And then, like I said, Jefferson is he's in that. He's maybe their best on-ball defender. We don't have him this year, so we're calling on the Bennett days. We're trying to get back to that. It was a good formula for the Bennett clan. So if we're heading that direction, that's great. And we just got to figure out a way to be more efficient offensively.
Jamie Vinnick, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. It seems that through the last couple games, Isaac's been able to get some better looks. Do you think that's kind of a result of maybe guys like Andre and Noah showing up on opposing team scouts where early on in the season they maybe hadn't quite gotten there yet, just from based off last year and Andre being a freshman?
100%. I think, like I said, Noah missed a lot of time, and with just his knowledge base of what we were doing at the beginning. I was a little worried about starting him and expected some jitters and some disorganization, but it was a little more than I anticipated. And it took even Noah's second game midway through Eastern Washington made a shot, and he's kind of been rolling since. And so yeah, and that's a establishing role. So he's kind of assumed a lot of the ball handling. And I got on those guys a lot about Isaac and Noah, and they responded well. Like, you guys have got to take care of the ball better and get us better starts. Obviously, did that. And Andre's got more comfortable, even though he's been turning over, and he's a good ball handler. And I think, Ryan's struggles offensively are noted, but he helps us a lot of the ball handling, giving us another guy making extra passes and relieving some of that pressure and getting us better starts. So, it's a process. Like I said, we're way behind, I feel like, but we got to catch up quickly. It's a coming.
You mentioned Ryan, I think he's 0 for 14 this year. Obviously, he's not an 0 for 14 shooter. Is it a mixture of confidence, mechanics, or is the ball just simply not going in for him?
Something I wish I knew. If I knew, I'd fix it. But honestly, I'd be like, I giggle because he didn't he was hurt all last year. He gets healthy about conference starts, and he threw him in against UCLA, and he makes a couple big buckets, and he's kind of a fearless guy. And and really challenged him to get better on the other aspects of the game. It's not unusual for guys to go through that kind of thing, but he'll be fine. I hope, but I wish I knew. He'll be fine though. I mean, he's helping us as long as the plus minus, like I said, he's helping us, and he's a functional offensive player for sure.
It seems that when Andre's on the floor, and really the last couple of games with his ability to knock down the three, it kind of helps the floor spacing a lot. How much does that kind of help the offense get into a rhythm when you have someone like Andre who really is a constant threat to hit a three and can help space the floor?
It helps us a lot, and actually that's what DJ does too. Ryan, we missed that. I think that was the same idea, and honestly, they're going to guard Ryan out. I hope they stop guarding him. Good God, I think he can make 1 out of 3 if he's unguarded, but yet to be determined. That same idea. They're going to guard him, but we'll keep the floor safe. They were pressuring us last game, so that did it. So I think Montana State will approach it a little differently. They defend a little differently, but you always need that. This day, we been light there, and it's nice that Noah's been taking good shots and shooting, a very good clip. That'll help us. Andre helps us. DJ helps. Jazz can stretch the floor. Miles, another guy you have to guard out there. So it helps. And you know what? Bamba can score and get to the rack, but he makes enough threes. He makes enough. That is, and if they don't guard him, I feel comfortable in him making shots too.
And then you mentioned in the post-game show, I believe with Chaz on Sunday, that Isaac was a little banged up. Is he expected to be okay for Friday?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's more just kind of things you pick up being a starting point guard, and at this level, it was a moving screen against Idaho that they didn't call, and Jack Wilson got a knee and hit. Those things happen, and they just take time, and it's a little painful, and get the blood flow. It's one there where the more he can do, the more it helps. A little blood flow in that. So I think a little rest and recovery and rehab. We're working Sam Gay, our trainer, overtime with all the guys in there, but I would think he'll be close to 100.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
Theo Lawson, go ahead again.
Going back to Ryan, you mentioned the plus minus. How much do you kind of value plus minus as an analytics minded basketball coach? How much does that matter to you?
It's really deep down. It's the most important one. It's just it's not a big enough sample size usually. Honestly, about probably halfway through a season but there's enough where I tell our guys specifically all this stuff goes into, because really our system predicated on winning plays minus losing plays, so make more winning plays. So emphasizing intangibles and defensively that stuff. So and you can feel when the score goes the wrong way. If a guy goes in there sometimes, but he's been scrapping, and like I said, he's been positive. So make some shots that should be even better. But even tricky, Bamba played great, but he's still a little green on the defensive stuff, the coverages, and we're doing some things we normally don't do that we not his fault. We need to get him up to speed. His plus minus is a little off, I think, not necessarily specifically him, but if one guy breaks down, that puts a lot of pressure on the other four defensively.
Where else does Ryan kind of grade out well with the analytics you guys keep? If there's 2 or 3 things that maybe he's kind of
his ball handling,
head and shoulder.
No, he gives us he's a solid ball handler, moves the ball, and he shoots well in practice. So he shoots a good percentage in practice. So I'll get to his credit. He led us in scoring one of the scrimmages. So I feel confident that they'll turn around. But he's got a good feel for the game. So offensively, so he's more of a playmaker. He's learned to organize the other guys around him better. But he's good in the pick and roll stuff. And I think he really, hopefully he can. I don't know if his role will be as big as it is now, but hopefully he'll be able to complement and really help Noah and Isaac. That's the goal.
Has he been able to kind of keep a positive attitude through this and kind of realize where he is helping the team and realize that the other stuff is going to
he's got a great care for this team, great attitude. Never would he worry about, he's worried about it, I'm sure, but he's not going to, he's all about the team.